welcome to Indiana Matt Guerrilla Radio Live. Hopefully you are getting it somewhere, whether it's on our Facebook feed, and that needs to be refreshed, or our on YouTube. So I got Mike Reiser here, the ranker extraordinaire. How's it going, Mike?
Good. Got that first update to the site, which is always a good thing. So a good thing. Exciting time to be in Indiana Wrestling.
Yes, it is. I'm excited. Starting to heat up. The season is. I think it was a little bit slow as we were talking. A lot of schedule changes, so a lot of teams were. I think they ditched that first weekend from their schedule. So. So that's kind of what we changed. A lot of teams change. I know that's what we did at Carroll. So that was the biggest thing. That was, I mean, that's going to be different. Just everyone's getting used to the new schedule, and really a lot less matches if you think about it. So it's going to be a little bit hard early on. I think this weekend's starting to heat it up, and it'll be fun. Yeah, there we go. There's my comments. Hopefully we can see those. So it should be pretty good.
We still had some really good matches this past weekend, which is always a good thing. Find some good matches, see some guys.
Yeah. So, first thing is, it is Indiana Matt's birthday week. We're going to turn 10 on Sunday. So, that's kind of cool. I can't believe it's been 10 years. I know, Mike, you've been with the site since the beginning. You were the original Maryville rankings guy.
By default. I don't know if anyone wanted it. And I think I threw up. I think someone threw. I think you threw a 4 wing. I'm just gonna throw these up. I liked it. And then Eric reached out to me and was like, "Hey, he's on here." I was like, "Yeah." Just kind of got pulled in by luck, and it's been awesome. I can't believe it's been 10 years either. Which is we were just talking about it before.
So, they're saying you're echoing. Anyway. So, actually, let me try moving you over here. So, so you've been doing the Maryville rankings and then picked up state rankings pretty quickly, or actually about 2 or 3 years in. Man, they don't like me doing that. So, after that, I guess I'm trying to do a bunch of things at once because I'm getting lots of messages. That you're echoing. Let me try one thing real quick. Okay, try this. Hopefully you're not. Hopefully this fixes it.
Yeah, still echoing.
We'll see as I get messages. So with that, I mean everything started 10 years ago. Yes, I think I hear that. And we're chugging along now, and we should. This week is going to be a fun week. Hopefully, we have a lot of fun this week. Okay, it's fixed. Good. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Everybody.
Yes, you guys get a little. It wasn't echoing on my end, so that's what it's kind of hard to do. Anyway, okay. Back to normal. My train of thought is better. Basically, this week. We're going to probably have some fun, maybe do some trivia, maybe do some just flat-out giveaways. I shipped 3 boxes, one to Mike, one to Dane, and one to Caleb. They're going to take some items, shirts, sweatshirts. There's a hat mixed in somewhere, some other stuff. They are going to take those to wherever they're going this weekend. Mike will be at the Harvest Classic. Don't bother him while he is announcing.
It was definitely different. We get there and obviously they switched over to track, which is a lot easier. With the first year, it was like here's a stack about sheets. Started signing match. I was like, all right. I thought I was just gonna be on the microphone, but it's cool. But yeah, if we get the stuff, if you guys want to get a T-shirt or something like or whatever is gonna be in there, like not when I'm on the mic. I have trouble enough pronouncing all these names, but once in between, we can figure something out.
Yeah. Oh, some people say it's still echoing. Ah, crap. Mike's, yes, I know Mike's the one that echoes. Okay. Let me move this over here. See if he gets an echo now. Now I just have to wait for people to say something. With that, Dane will be at Cathedral, and I'm not sure where Caleb will be. I know he is going to be at. I assume he's going to be at at Gymtown. So that's where I think he'll be. We'll tweet that out when I find out for sure. But he'll be out there, out and about, giving. So maybe they'll make you do push-ups. Maybe they will make you do something else. So I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. I think some shots for the site, some shots for the Twitter. 10 years. I mean, that's a long time. How long? When you did it, when you started up, I mean, obviously I wasn't part of the process of starting it. Did you think it was going to be like a 10-year process?
I didn't expect it to last that long. I didn't. I mean, I had no clue starting it up when Chad and Eric were pestering me to do that. I wasn't sure, what was going to go on. It just was kind of a fly-by-night thing that we did, and ended up sticking around. I know there are a lot of people that didn't think it'd last, but it has. So, it's gone on pretty good since then. So,
yeah. And I think like one of the really cool things is that you guys are always pushing. I mean, we talked about it last week with tournaments, but this week we had another article, which they've been great. We had the website of the year. What year was that? 2 years ago?
2 years ago, 2016.
I have a really cool frosted mugger on here with it on there. And I think like the magazine, even though it got a little bit of hate today.
Yes. Yeah.
But I think that's really cool, especially if you get the hard copy. I know we did the digital copy this year and it sold really well, but the hard copy, I have all my hard copies, and I feel like you can go back and look, and it's always really a cool thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think the hard copies kind of hopefully become a Triple B's here. That's good. Welcome, Triple B. It's always nice to have that hard copy as a little bit of a reference. We still have enough old school people that still like to get your hands on some. I do like. I mean, I read things that are like that all the time, but then it's so nice to have that hard copy and stuff. And I know one of the things I'm looking forward to. I do have a lot of Indiana history data, as in all of it. So getting those brackets and stuff online, and then hopefully getting another Ancient Elders book. So it's been a lot of fun. You reading the? Yes, I do not know Attica. I'm sorry. I should not put these comments up
here. We played in Terre Haute and we drove right past Attica, and I was like, oh man, this is where Jordan Douglas is at, And then I didn't know that I was going to get roasted on that 2 weeks later, but it happened.
Yeah, nah. I apologize for any mistakes in the magazine. I'm human. I'm sorry. I left out random people that it's putting together a whole magazine and doing all that is not easy, and there's mistakes. I guarantee it. I'm not a professional writer. I'm a software engineer. I write code, and if you want to read my code, you'd rather read my writing.
Yeah. No, like I said, I mean, obviously, those are like the few and far between. I think for the majority, everyone likes those things, and I think that's one of the things that's been great about the site over the 10 years. Like it started off not super advanced. I mean, no, that's not like a shot, but like I think even the first time I logged in, I was like, man, like this is kind of like a basic setup, and then where it's grown, and we've had those times where you've had so much traffic, it's like, okay, we need to upgrade, and I think it's 10 years strong, and hopefully another 10 years. I mean, I guess that's on you. I mean,
yeah, no, it's you're right. I mean, it was pretty. I mean, it was funny because when I was talking to Chad and Eric, I was like, I can get the website up in 20 minutes, and for a while there, it looked like it. I mean, we went the most basic thing we could do, and went from there. And so it's been just think about way back in kind of where the site is now with the database of the wrestlers and all that stuff. That's kind of the vision I had for a long time. Oh, bye, Triple B. But it was something I couldn't devote the full time into programming it and stuff. And so it's getting closer to where I want it to be, being able to click on a wrestler and finding out all their past history, you know, looking at seeing an easy place to find all Fargo All-Americans. I know I get asked all the time about, you know, where can I find this? Where can I find that? And I get the best questions are the ones like, oh, this guy I work with, he said he was a 6-time state placer and state champion. Do you know anything? So I'll, you know, now you can just search to get their name, and they'll be you can find out if they were on here. If they're in our database, they'll list whether they're a state qualifier, state placer, whatever it is, all the way back to like 1922. So I'm excited. That's the next big thing we're doing, and then I don't know. Maybe go back to Pittsburgh. Maybe do another dream team. I know Pittsburgh was a lot of fun for our guys, and you know that one's a little less hefty on the pocketbook for us because they do a lot of good stuff for us, and it's a pretty cool experience, especially wrestling in a hostile environment. That was a lot of fun. So, there's old Danny Bell. There's a blast from the past.
I like it. Yeah, I like that I can read all these here as they're coming up too. This is pretty good.
Yeah, I get a little distracted when I'm reading them.
Yeah.
So,
and like I just said, like that was just, it's like an amazing thing and where it's gone to, and you know, I think we get a lot of compliments, and I always say, like, I get a ton of compliments for things that I have nothing to do with. They're like, man, this tight's awesome. I can't believe you built this. It's like, yeah, I'm on an actual, like, really easy spreadsheet. I send it to Joe, and then they post the rankings. So, but I'll take credit for it. I appreciate that.
Yeah, no, and the best thing is, like, when Jason Bryant was asking, you know, who's on your, you know, for the write-up for the National Wrestling Media Association Award. He's like, so who's on the staff? I'm like, I started listing all these people. I'm like, man, I didn't realize there's so many people that do, you know, little things here and there, and it's, you know, it's, people think it's just me, and it's not even close. I just make sure that the website's up and running and throw up rankings a couple times a week, and go and, you know, get articles written, you know, talk to, you know, guys about articles. I mean, I was Steve Cross talking to him, he's getting phone numbers and stuff for articles, doing that, you know, getting that stuff around, you know, kind of things behind the scenes, and then, you know, posts and stuff like that, which takes very little time. So,
yeah, awesome.
Yeah, dream team to Brushy Perry. Oh man, I don't want to culture shock those guys enough.
Yeah, I don't know if we're ready for that.
Well, one of the best was when Corey Teamer, who's from Long Island, New York, you know, city. Let's say this. He texted me and said, "Hey, I landed," and I said, "Hey, a bunch of guys and I are over by the Cow and Pig," and, you know, and there was this cow and pig like display at the Indianapolis airport, and I can only imagine the look on his face when he's like, "Where am I?"
Oh yeah.
So he and I was like, "Did that kind of scare you for a second?" He's like, "Yeah, I didn't know what to expect." And there was like this little display with the cow and pig and stuff. So he's like, I was scared. So, and he got to see grass for the first time when he came to the Dream Team.
Nice.
I think Brushy Prairie might scare him there, Brett. So with that, next week we are gonna have our Guerrilla Radio will be on Sunday night, because I have something on Monday night, and that's our birthday anyway, so we'll have birthday hats on and cake or something, maybe, I don't know. So Sunday night, some mark the calendar.
Party poppers.
Yeah. So anyway, we're gonna get into, so with that, remember, hit up Mike, Dane, or Caleb. They'll be at different events. Do not hit me up, because I'm gonna be coaching, and then I'll be really mad, and I probably will just ignore you. So, because we have some tough matches.
Yeah, we're going to ration this out, though, because now you're going a couple big things. I'm not going to hand out 50 T-shirts or 50 hats or whatever at one event. We're going to like try to do this over a couple things. So
yeah. So
for me, I don't know how Dane and Caleb's going to do it. That's their thing.
Yep. I do know. I know one of our biggest fans, Grandma Bailey. There's a special shirt for you. You don't have to worry about fighting off the crowds. I got one. Just ask Dane. He'll hook you up. She's our biggest fan.
Yeah, I'm going to see her the next week after that, too, at the Tricon.
She'll probably try to hit you up for another shirt. So, I didn't get it. So, now I got a nice green one, very similar to this one. This is what some of them are out there. I guess I better stand up. So, so it'll be a lot of fun. And then, anyway, we'll get into talking, I guess, wrestling. First one, I know there's a post yesterday or today about women's wrestling. The girls' state finals will be a third straight year for that. Thought I'd hit a little bit on it. You're seeing a lot more states are adding wrestling as a true sport, as a sanctioned sport, I guess, not a true sport. That's kind of not the best thing, but the sanctioned sport. I know one I saw was kind of interesting. It was Georgia added it, and then they prolonged their state tournament, their boys, to 4 days. There's some complaints on that. I'm like, that's crazy. I love wrestling. I don't know if I could do 4 straight. That's not like NCAAs. I mean, kids weighing in 4 straight days.
Ah, man. NCAAs, I feel like towards the end of that, you're like ready to like be done.
Yeah. And I can't imagine. Well, my first inclination is Indiana's very stringent. They don't like to have their state tournaments during the school year, and they don't like to have kids miss school for state events. And it only happens usually like in the spring. But I couldn't imagine them doing that, doing it, 3 straight days. They'd have at least missed 3 days of school, and I couldn't imagine. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's pretty neat to see that states are adding girls wrestling.
Are they gonna run their women's wrestling and then the boys' state finals at the same time?
I think so. I think that's why it kind of got prolonged. And at least they only get pound for the first 2 days, so they can only have a max of 2 pounds. I think so. The second and the third day, I believe. So there's only a max total. So the last day they're not getting any weight. So that I couldn't imagine. I just couldn't imagine missing 3 days of school, or for me 3 days of work. I think that could. I mean that's just crazy. That's something that I know. Cliff Fretwell he was like, you got to be kidding me. 4 days of a state tournament, you're gonna kill these kids just making weight, because they're gonna have to make weight for like one match. I mean, it's a 16-man bracket, it's one match a day, pretty much. So I don't know. I'm glad the HSA has some things we'd like to fix, but we can always find something else, someone else that's doing it even worse. And I know like Georgia does have like 6 classes too, which is ridiculous, and they complain about that also. So but women's wrestling,
you wouldn't want to do 6 classes?
I'd do 2. I could do 2. That's my max right now. Okay. We'll see how after I see how 2 is, I could comment on 3. But yeah, they but with women's wrestling, it's pretty neat. We're starting our third state series this year. I like how they do it. They have the regionals and then state. I think we have some great. I mean, obviously Sarah Hildebrand. We just had an article on her. She was a world medalist this year. We have Kayla Miracle, who's an Indiana girl. She's medaled at pretty much every age level, just shy of the under 23, which I don't know if this might be her last year for that or not. She's kind of young, but I'm not 100% certain she'll get one more shot at the under 23. And she's medaled at junior and cadet levels. Lara Boyd, she's back at Yorktown. She's wrestling this weekend, I know. She's a couple-time world medalist, so it's pretty neat to see that Indiana's had a lot of very good success at the world level recently, with girls, and it's pretty neat. It's neat to see, and I think it's gonna keep growing. And I'm excited. I'd say within a few years, the IHSA could be added. So I just kind of getting that hint. I know Falcons doesn't like to be the last. He doesn't exactly want to be the first, but he doesn't want to be the last one to do something. So I think he's been keeping his eyes pretty well peeled on that, and I have a feeling he doesn't want to be the last one to do it, because he doesn't want to look bad. So hopefully I'm right, but I think it's good for.
I think, especially with the success level that we're having, it's going to draw more people in. And we had the article. That was 2 weeks ago now, right? Or last week with Sarah. And they said that Penn's kind of like their women's wrestling program starting to blow up. And I know that last year at the state, the female state, they had a bunch of participants there. So it's pretty good. I think it's cool overall. Just you start seeing it more and more, and I think it's good to have that outlet to have people go in there and be able to compete. I mean, we were at Maryville when Hildebrandt, was in the ticket round, and then I was there when Miracle qualified, and I thought those were pretty cool events.
Yeah. Oh, I got to coach against Miracle at state. That was very fun. First match on the mat, and everyone's looking at that mat. that was nerve wracking.
I remember I picked the Friday night upset. You were so upset.
Yeah.
I wanted to say Hayden Lee.
Yeah, but, no, that was and I can tell you, Hayden was nervous. He usually never. He didn't get nervous. He was had pretty good nerves of steel, but you could tell he was nervous. He said afterward, he's like, I don't remember the match. I mean, he just was so. I mean, and that's a lot of pressure. Number one, you're at Friday night at State where there's a lot of pressure anyway. But then you add that everyone is watching your match and kind of hoping that you lose. You know, they're going to cheer if you lose or if. And I remember they got in a couple scrambles, and you could hear the crowd get a little excited. And luckily, he came out on top. And afterward, he was more relieved that it just was over with. If there would have been a regular dual meet, a lot less nerves. But so I have a picture that I got sent of. There were probably 10 reporters and news people around her after she lost, and one person came up and watched and talked to Hayden. So there's been a running joke that, I guess winning it wasn't that important. So, but it was pretty neat for her, pretty good for the state to see that.
I think, obviously, like a lot of the guys in the chat right now were there also.
Yeah.
There was a lot of guys there that at Maryville. It was just an electric atmosphere when she qualified. It was. I think even her semifinals match was really good that year. It was a tight match, and you just go back and it's something that's never happened, and I think that was a pretty amazing feat. See my guy Blake, that's my guy. I think those are the moments that at the state finals it definitely felt like really it was electric going out there, and then I thought it was kind of cool they didn't stop or anything. I liked. They didn't say anything crazy. They just made it feel like very every day, which was really cool too. I think that if you made a big scene of it, it's different, but it was definitely something special. And obviously she's doing big things now on the world stage, along with Hildebrand, who was right there to qualify as a junior. And so I think those are some of the things people get behind that. And we always talk about it at the state finals, and you were on the other end of that, I guess. You can get a bunch of people cheering for one person, and then just the ebb and flow of the crowd. And Indiana wrestling is such a unique thing with the one class, and everyone's in the building, and just the different kind of electricity. I feel like, and I think women's wrestling in the male side with Hildebrand and Miracle and Brokel down south and Void. Those are matches everyone always has their eyes on because those girls are really, really good and they can compete at the highest level.
Oh goodness, we're gonna have Mike Reiser stories here. Oh goodness, where's the censor?
Yeah, follow Blake on Snapchat. It's really good.
Nice. So hopefully we see some more good things with our girls wrestling here in the state. I know it's growing. I know the IHSA is keeping their close tabs on what's going on with the growth, and the only thing I know we've brought it up in our practice room and stuff and talking about it. It'll be interesting how they incorporate it, more or less. Is it a total separate entity like girls basketball, boys basketball? Sometimes they merge, sometimes they don't. But I don't know if maybe you piggyback a dual. Like how you have JV, varsity. Maybe you throw in the girls right there, right in between there, or something like that. I don't know, but that's the most interesting thing. I kind of am keeping my eye on, as far as is it just total different coaching staff, which that would be my biggest worry is with the girls as the coaching staff, because teams already having trouble finding male coaches, and now you got to find another set of coaches to coach the girls, so that's going to be money and or resources, so it'll be interesting.
Do you guys have any women competing at Carroll or no?
No, we have not had any go. I think the middle school they've had a couple go out, but we have not had any at the high school. At Garrett we had a couple that were interested. I think middle school, I think they had a couple go out a few times. I know they have I think they have a couple this year. They've had some, but I don't. And then we had one girl my sophomore year, or not my sophomore, I don't know, when I was there that was going to come out, and she ended up not coming out. So it was, So it. I mean, it's good for them. It's just it's getting better, and more girls are coming out. And you're looking at team pictures, and now it's like, I don't think that's a manager. I think she's a wrestler. You can see in a lot of people a lot more girls in the lineups and stuff.
I know Calumet had the Clark sisters, and they both competed. The one won it the first year, and then I think the older sister didn't have it then, but I know that they were there. I don't know if they have any girls this year. I haven't seen Calumet yet. I'll see them at the Harvest coming up. So
nice,
but definitely, to pave the way,
Yeah. So this week should have some great wrestling. Speaking of that, might as well talk about the Harvest Classic. No Perry Meridian this year, unfortunately. They decided to get in the Al Smith and beat up on Mater Day. I don't know if they'll beat up on Mater Day. That's going to be a heck of a duel. But they're going to go down to Evansville. So they said they got tired of the region. They said that smelled too bad, polluted their lungs too much.
They said they came out. They're a really good team. I loved watching them compete up at the Harvest. They just have like a real like family atmosphere. Their whole team, every guy's there cheering for every guy, and I think that should be like that. And they score bonus points, man. They're gonna do work at Al Smith. I don't know if they're gonna win. Obviously, there's some really good teams there, but those guys get huge bonus points in the leading up there. They get falls, they pin, they're pinners. But yeah, we got the Harvest Classic this weekend. I know they sent the trophy back. They mailed it back, so I don't know if those guys were so happy to get it back in a whole bunch of little pieces through the mail. It's like a traveling trophy.
That's nice. Awesome.
Yeah, they sent me some pictures of it. Not the Perry Meridian guys, but some of the Lake Central guys. So they had another team in from Chicago, Homewood Flossmoor. I'm not sure. I mean, Illinois Matmen site's kind of falling off. I don't want to be like. They only rank the top 6 in every weight class. So I don't know how good Homewood Flossmoor is. Their Twitter seems like they do pretty good job. They got Brother Rice, who just got stomped by Mount Carmel, but obviously Mount Carmel's a really good team. They got beat like 73-3 or 63-3. So losing Perry Meridian's tough, but Penn's there, Portage is there, Hobart's there, Lake Central. So should be a decent day of wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. So get a good early gauge on some of those teams, and it's always some good wrestling, and it's nice that they throw in some teams from out of the area a little bit. Obviously, having Perry was good, but those Chicago teams, they always bring some solid kids there.
Yeah. I don't know if he's still at Brother Rice or not. There's a 160 that's pretty good. Dominic, he wrestled at the Indiana Mat too. He's an RWA kid. He's pretty good.
Is it Lomazak? I want to say Lomazo. Lomazo. Maybe that sounds like a Dominic that I was thinking of. I'll have to look it up. Yeah, so that should be some good wrestling. Up north, you also have the Plymouth Super Duel. Mishawaka, Lowell, Plymouth, obviously. Those are the 3 big guns. You could see Graham Calhoun versus Joe Walker.
Yeah, I think that's always a good match. Joe Walker had a good one this weekend, and Graham Calhoun had a good one the first weekend with Eli Pack.
Yeah, so yeah. And then
definitely always some good ranking matchups there.
Yeah, they always have some good, and Lowell has some good kids. I'm curious to see the little engine that could what's his name? Crap, Lowell's 112-13 last year.
Moreno.
Yeah, Moreno.
Andreas Moreno.
Yeah, he has a gas tank. He goes.
Yeah, they have a couple really good kids in their lineup. When I was doing the semi-state rankings, they had a handful of kids that were returning that semi-state tick-around guys. Coach Howard always has those guys going. They're scrappy. I'm about to move there, so maybe I'll get a better look at Lowell more often.
Yeah, no, that's that should be a good one. Another good one. Indy area has a couple good ones. The Shamrock Slam. I've renamed it. I don't care if they call it the Shamrock Duels. It's the Shamrock Slam. Sounds a lot better. Carroll's there, obviously. Westfield, Carmel, Zionsville, Roncalli, Crown Point, and Yorktown. Lawrence Central's also there. Really good. They actually, a couple teams, they kind of showed the door, and then they picked up Carmel, Yorktown, or Carmel, Crown Point, and Noblesville's also there. Noblesville's new this year. They kind of a lot deeper this year. Mount Vernon, who's pretty solid team. They're really young last year. I think they lost like one senior, so they're going to be there. Should be some great wrestling. Carmel and Zionsville are in the same pool, according to
showdown, right?
Yeah, according to Coach Pandowski, the losing coach has to grow their hair out between him and Welch. So it's not they have to cut it; they have to grow their hair out.
Yeah, I don't know if Ed's going to be able to grow that. That's a good pool, though. That pool B is really good. I was happy that they posted the pools. I think you posted the pools. Mm-hmm. Ben Davis has some good kids too. They got Diesel Duncan back from California. Stephen Weddle's still there, so definitely that's a good pool.
Yeah.
You guys, Fishers, Westfield. I don't know a ton about Northview. Crown Point, Noblesville, Lawrence Central. That's a good pool. Homestead, and then Roncalli, Shenandoah. Shenandoah's always got a ton of good kids. Obviously, they got Silas Allred. They got It's gonna be good. It's a good day.
Yeah. There's a lot of good wrestling, and I know, should be some good. I mean, I think pretty much all the teams there are gonna have full lineups. They're gonna be solid teams, well coached. So I'm kind of looking forward to the challenge, and some good matches going on. You know, there's obviously some of these you'd almost rather this be an invitational to make sure that all these better kids hit. But I like the dual format. It's a lot of fun. It's a real good day. I mean, we've had some intense matches in there, and this will be our 4th year there. And you know, it's a little bit of a drive for us, but it's a lot of fun, and we kind of use this as a good gauge of where we are early in the season. I mean, Ron Colley put it to us last year. And, you know, Zionsville's always well coached. They're going to be well coached still with Welch there now. Crown Point's going to be tough. They're going to have some young guns. They might be the new young guns. Yorktown always has some good kids. Lawrence Central has some good kids too. So that should be. They were in the top 4 last year. They just have some tough, young, scrappy kids, and they're kind of funky. So it should be some. I'm excited for it. Should be some good wrestling.
I was hoping to see Yorktown Crown Point getting that first pool selfishly as a fan. Selfishly, not like I don't know how they do it. It's a blind seed, or they seed it like 1 through 5 or something, or 1 through 8. But I was hoping Yorktown and Crown Point would get in there so you can get that early season Mendez, possibly Curtis. You know, Mendez coming in obviously with a lot of hype going in. Not just hype. He's obviously done it on the national level, so he's really good. And what does Curtis have in his career? I mean, I can go on Indiana Matt and find out, but he probably has 4 losses in his career, 6 losses.
Yeah, he hasn't lost for 2 years. I think he had 3 or 4 maybe his freshman year. So he's pretty
really
tough.
Good. Yeah,
and so yeah, it should be some good wrestling there. Also around the Indy area, you'll see Dane will be at Cathedral watching Belmont, and also Avon, Cathedral. Culver Academy, Warren. I assume it's their A team. I'm sure we'll get a text from Tante. I know he's a avid fan of the show. So I'm sure he'll
give my guy a t-shirt too.
So it should be some good. That's gonna be some good ones. I assume everyone wrestles each other, so you're gonna get. Avon, Cathedral. I was gonna say at Shamrock. Carmel just got done playing in the state football finals, so I doubt they'll have some of their football players. I know they usually have a few. I mean, I obviously I'm at a big school also, and I know we have a few also. And so I guess it kind of goes. Sometimes some years there'll be 1 or 2. Sometimes it'll be 3 or 4. But I know they have a good relationship with their football coach, so they're gonna be down a few kids. I don't know what that means for their quality, but they should. And I know they have some kids that are even like middleweights that might not be starting on the football team, but are starters on wrestling. So they're going to be down a little bit just because of football, which that just wrapped up this past weekend. So, but back to Cathedral. Avon, Cathedral, Belmont, CMA. I'm curious to see those guys. A lot of those young guys, the Ohio guys. I know Ohio's tough in wrestling, and that's it'd be good to see where those guys are real quick.
Oh yeah, you're bringing in 4? Did we say there's 4 new kids in there plus Eli Pack, who was there last year? 5 Ohio kids in that lineup.
Yeah,
they got some kids that are no joke, man. Cernus is no joke. That kid's gonna go out there. I think we have him ranked 2. I have him ranked number 2 in the state. An incoming freshman. Donahoe is a top 5 ranked kid. I think he was number 4 on Flo's overall incoming freshman. Those kids are going to go out there and compete, and they're going to be in some bigger weights where you're going to get to see, 52, 60, 70, 82. It's going to be exciting. Obviously, Warren Central does a great job.
Yeah. Yeah. Warren's on the rise. Oh, on the rise. That's a good one.
It works, guys.
They're I mean, not that they're for what Tante says, considers down is, only 6 state qualifiers. So they were down a little bit after they won a state. They lost about 10. They literally had like 10 seniors in their lineup. And
medalists.
Yeah. They were tough that
guys
year.
So, which, it's obviously Cathedral's a load. I know Dane has them right number 1. And like 13, Ed Seltzer's great. Thank you. 20, 26, 32, all the way up through, 60, 70, 82. They're tough. So it's going to be difficult to find wins in there. They're just solid across the board.
Yeah. You gotta get your wins. I know that they have a couple guys that are what would be kind of sketchy for you have your studs, and then you have a couple guys that we're not sure about right now. That I think we'll probably find out pretty quickly how good some of those bigger guys are. And they filled them in pretty good last year. They got another ghoul. I don't know how many ghouls there are.
Yeah, they turned into the Weinzaffels, right?
Yeah. Is this Baker South or what?
And they're all big 220s. So, the 82's returning semi-state kid. 70's a kid that was a Triple Crown winner. You got 60's a state champ, Slivka. 52's the number 1 ranked kid in Rogers. 45, Mosconi's up there. I think he's 2 behind Rooks, or he's 1. And just like top to bottom, they got a returning state qualifier in Wilson, Logan Bailey, Wozniak. They're just tough all the way across.
Yeah, it's going to be hard to beat them. You got to match up pretty well. You got to be able to knock off one of their top guys and then hold your own with those other top guys. Because if you're giving up pins, you're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, I think, a team like Warren does match up. Like, I don't know if they're like there yet. They're still pretty young. But they have some good guys through there. They have a good 6. They have a good 13. They have a good 20, 26 all the way up. And they're all solid. Those guys wrestle all year long. 52 would be a good match with Antoine Graves and Elliot Rogers.
Yeah, definitely. That'll be a good mix. What Graves is probably 4 or 5-ish, maybe 3.
Yeah, he's right in the mix too.
Yeah, so he's going to be.
52
say that again.
52 would be a good weight there.
Yeah, definitely. So, he's going to go through in the rankings.
Conley will be in there. Yeah, you'll have Conley, Graves, Rogers, possibly Welch from CMA. Belmont's 52's ranked, right? Or is he at 60?
He's at 60, I believe. Is Rubel's at 60, I believe, is where we have him.
Okay. So possibly, you have a bunch of guys in there that are, 60 would be good. That's a good day. That's a good super duel to get into. And when you're limiting your schedule to like get these duels, that's a great one to get into.
Yeah. Oh no, you do have Rubel at 52, so he's down at 12. So yeah, you're gonna have Rogers, Graves is 4, Conley's 5. You got Rubel, who's 12, and then the Culver guy, Brady Welch, he's at 60, but I don't know if he might be going down. That's a big freshman. They got some big freshmen. That's actually, that's some team points at state. Yeah. Yeah, well, what was that? Donahue, he originally was signed up for 55 at the IPO, wrestled 63. So we're like, okay, maybe 60. Now he's up to 82. I get that. That's the best advertisement you can have for the dining hall at Culver.
Yeah. So that'll be a good day. I think overall, I see someone put thoughts on Crown Point. Crown Point's going to be good in some spots, and they're going to be young, and they have some really young, talented wrestlers. They have probably one of the more decorated incoming freshmen. This is a good freshman class in general.
Mm-hmm.
But, you got Mendez, you got a returning – you have a Michigan State champ in your lineup. You have a guy that was a guy in Roberson who was a freshman sophomore state medalist in their lineup at 6. So they got another tough freshman at 13. They'll be good. They'll be able to compete. It'll be interesting. That's a good meet for them to get into. Yeah. I like that Lorix buffing up their schedule some. They're going to be at Al Smith also. So you guys get to see them twice, Joe.
Yep, and well, they'll be at Team State too, so we won't see them there. We're not there this year, but yeah, we'll get to see Crown Point a couple times, possibly. Hopefully, we make the same championship pool. That's the goal, as always. But I know we're a little young in some places too, so hopefully we're a good young. But yeah, it should be. Yeah, I'm excited to see Crown Point. I mean, there's a lot of talk on them. I know they're good. They got some good kids, top to bottom. So it should be interesting to see them. And,
Does Team State, the IHSWCA one, does that count towards your duels? Is that then you get 6? You have to use that as one of your dual tournaments?
Nope, that's a regular tournament. So that's we just weren't invited this year. We came just a little bit short.
For them, because now you're looking like you got Westville. They're going to Westfield. They're going to the Tri-Coff. They're going to the Al Smith. They're going to Team State. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
they're doing a nice job of pulling up that schedule.
Yeah, then they obviously have their conference tournament, and then was it the Carnahan? So that's all 6 of their tournaments.
Yeah, Carnahan. Yeah, Carnahan's in there too.
Yeah.
So
that's going to be they have
definitely different.
Yeah, they definitely have a good schedule. It's interesting. I just like I said this more than once, and I know just talking to a couple people offline, it's weird because this year the schedules are. I know just doing practice plans. I was talking to a kid after, I got to change them up a little bit because our schedule's so different, and we're wrestling 2 times a week when we've really been wrestling basically once a week most weeks. So it's kind of it's been changing. You have to change, coaching a little bit. Obviously, you can't go hard on Tuesday when you have a match on Wednesday, unless you want to kill the kids. But yeah, so it'll be interesting to see. Crown Point's not at Team State. Oh, okay.
I didn't think so. I was part of that voting process, but I don't want to put you on the spot. Thanks, Bill.
Oh, well, nah, that's fine. I thought they were. I thought they, yeah. But no, they should. They'll be interesting because Carmel and Roncalli are both at Team State. Obviously, Carmel's a little bit not going to be full strength, so them that's kind of a little statement that they could make that they should have been in. So. Oh, well, I was wrong. Sorry. Not the first time I've been wrong today, was it?
Sounds like Team State and Attica.
Yeah, yes.
I'm just having fun with that guy. So sorry. And then Castle got one going this weekend, too, where I know I got a message. You'll have Boonville's going to be there. They'll see Hayhurst and I can't think of the 2 ranked 13s going at it, so it'll be good.
Yeah, Boonville has some solid kids. Go ahead. Who is it?
Boonville gets a bunch of kids to semi-state. Those guys are always there. It's just I don't make it down to Evansville a ton. I was asking Triple B if that's by them. He said no, it's down by Evansville. Yeah. I know sometimes people ask me like why the semi-state rankings are different than the state rankings, and outside of East Chicago, which sometimes I mix it up also. I always want those guys to do their own thing. I always want like Caleb or what's the new guy's name?
Phil Wimpy. He's a Madison kid guy. Yeah. So yeah, he
Triple B professor.
Yes. No, yeah, I agree. I mean, that's everyone always asks. Why is it different? Why does it have this guy? Why in the state rankings is this guy over this guy? When the semi-state it's different, and different opinions, and we should. That's nice, and I know everyone has access to the other one, so they can kind of see, where you guys are putting them pre rankings release, so you can get a little heads up. But yeah, that's it's nice, and they are different people. It's not the same person, because I think that would drive someone nuts to be able to do that deep. It's already hard enough to do one.
Those guys are seeing obviously Howie's seeing those guys a lot more in the Indy area, and he's been around it with his kids being in the sport, and obviously Caleb does a great job. If you look at the Pick'ems results up by itself, that guy's always in the top 5. He's a phenom. Actually, I feel like doing the rankings has brought him back a little bit to the pack. Yeah. It's a little bit tougher because then you start getting too much information, and then now we got a guy they call a professor down from Madtown.
Yeah,
so
that's probably the smartest person.
Evansville would be difficult.
Yeah. No, we missed. I know. I always look him before I post him. I always look him over and make sure, like I saw he had someone that was graduated and he was just a wrong name from the same school. He's like, oh, that was supposed to be so and so, but I totally missed Lytle. I apologize.
And comments. Wait, yeah. I sent Triple B a message like, hey, this is your boy, right? Like, was he know something I don't know? Like, is there some inside info? He's like, no, I think you just missed him. I said, all right. We give him one pass.
Yep. Yeah. No, it's not an easy job by any means to do that. So I would challenge anyone to try to be like what you told Caleb, I think one of the first times, like, don't worry, if you're wrong, someone will tell you.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, even if you're right, they'll tell you you're wrong. You don't even know how many emails I get about how I cost kids scholarships. So
nice. I remember.
So I lose a lot of sleep at night thinking about all these scholarships that got taken away.
Yeah. Yes. I used to remember. I was looking at one of the first posts actually, and someone, asked, "Why is so and so above so and so?" And I'm like, well, he beat him last year. This was the preseason, early season rankings. Obviously, it was right when the website started, so it was early season, and we're trying to get things under control. And I'm like, well, he beat him last year at semi-state in the ticket round. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. And we always talk about the bad ones, but dude, I get a ton of really awesome people messaging me, telling me like, hey, just consider this. And dude, I appreciate it because there's a lot of times I don't see that kind of stuff, or there's going to be tournaments I don't see,
Yeah.
Half the New Way stuff I really don't check out all the time on the results ever. So, but if you send it to me and you let me know, generally we fix those things. Yeah. And we do this thing at the end of the year where it kind of works itself out.
Yeah. No, it's a work in progress, and I know I'm just looking at the rankings now. I think you've tinkered with them a little bit, just kind of seeing where guys are ranked and stuff. So I mean, it's always working. You're always, especially right now, you're adjusting weights because everyone told you I'm going to go 113, and then their coach is like, no, he's going 26 if he's lucky.
Oh yeah, you get that all the time. Wishful thinking, but we've all been there. I think anyone that's competed has that wishful thinking of, yeah, I'm going to make. I wrestled 13 last year. I'm gonna be at 13 again. Like, yeah, but you wrestled 32 at like the Warren Central freestyle tournament. But yeah, I was just wrestling up that day. That's a lot of weight to.
Yeah, definitely.
So
no, that's
it's exciting.
Yeah, wow, we got a lot of people on Facebook. I was just looking at the stats. Any other fun that's going on in Indiana? Nothing really going on. I mean, everyone's kind of just getting excited, getting their feet underneath them. I know some of the getting the rankings. All the semi-states, all the state has had their first real official rankings. So we're starting to get in there. A lot of the some of the big matches. So getting our feet wet. A lot of football's over now. Concentrate on wrestling.
Yeah.
So Pistol Pete's excited about the.
Just know what's up. That's back to school national champ. not the Fairhaven one. Fairhaven went out there and did work. They're not in the state tournament, are they?
No, they're not.
I've seen that they did work.
Yeah, they beat a few teams. They beat LaPorte and Columbia City, I believe.
Yeah.
And those are usually pretty solid teams. That I mean, they're not state ranked teams, but they're also usually have full lineups and have kids that are pretty scrappy. So that's pretty. The war on the Wabash this weekend. Sounds like Harrison ran through it, but there's always some good matches that came through there. I know, Wawasee has some good matches. Wawasee and Mishawaka.
Yeah. Man, how good is Wawasee getting as a team? Those guys are getting awesome.
Yep, and they'll be at the Al Smith. I'm kind of they have some good kids. It'll be interesting seeing a smaller school like them that in the tournament atmosphere. It's gonna be interesting just because. If you have your top level guys, that's good, but you need those mid tier guys that can score points and even maybe sneak into a placement. But that's gonna be hard this year at the Al Smith. I'm just thinking of the teams that are gonna be there. It's gonna be hard to place top 8, and you're gonna earn it.
That's good, and Coach Sandifer is doing a good job of making that top level again. It was disappointing to see teams bringing 1 or 2 kids to compete, and you don't want to see that, especially in those premier tournaments. You want to see those tournaments, stacked with the best teams there, and that's the thing that makes me excited when you go there and you're seeing like the top guys. You're seeing like state championship level matches there every year, and you guys have been in there for a couple years now, which is great. because I think that's the one thing I think that I would like to see at the Tri-Coff is bring some more Fort Wayne love in there. I want to see like the top Fort Wayne teams come to the Tri-Coff, things like that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I'd like to get over there and get our kids a little cultured in the Calumet area. It's a little bit different than Huntertown.
I'll take you guys to some spots, man. You guys ever had some lemon pepper on some wings from Sharks? Change your life.
Yeah. I heard a couple of stories about Snyder when they went there, and they stayed in a couple of sketchy places, and their kids, Snyder's, has some kids that have seen some rough areas, and this was nothing compared to what they've seen. So,
hey man, one of my teammates, so a guy came, he was visiting Eric, and he got off on the wrong exit. And it's like burnt down building, abandoned building, burnt down building. He starts like, man, I don't know where I was at. This place is terrible. And my buddy Thurman said, hey, stop right there. Some people call that home. That's how I feel like you're doing to me right now.
No, that's it's the region. My wife's from the region, so I get to have I've got enough of that region in my lungs now after the.
Good food, right?
Yes. Oh, the best part is like just like where do you want to go? Like around here, it's like you want to go to here. There's like 3 places, in the region. It's like you go here, you go here, you go here. I'm like I'm that's why I like going back just because of the food, and the local stuff.
I like when we went to go see Foxcatcher in Chicago and you didn't want to drive in the city.
Hey, my wife has experience driving that stuff. I don't. Like, yeah, you can drive. I'm fine being a passenger. So yeah. Oh man, that was I saw some. That was a few years ago.
Yeah, that was good.
Someone asked, "Do you know anyone who's at the Valpo Duels?" I could be sarcastic and say I know one team, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, it changes all the time, but I don't remember who's there.
Yeah, no,
Valpo used to do that awesome 10-team thing to start the year off, that Valpo Super Bowl, but they kind of did away with that.
Yeah.
So I don't know there now.
Yeah, no, there's been a little changeover in a lot of the events, so it's kind of hard to keep up, and be a couple years before everyone kind of gets usually everyone has like the same general schedule for every year, and now it's been all jacked up, so you think, this team's wait, they're not. Just like we were talking about Perry last week. Is like, Perry, wait, they're not at Harvest. So they change up their schedule, things like that.
That was heartbreaking.
Yeah.
I think Maryville's at LaPorte. I don't know who's at Valpo this weekend.
Yeah. So yeah, we need to get a scheduler in that's on my list. Having a schedule, just seeing where everyone is every week, that'd be a lot of fun. Just need a lot of input from people. So.
Yeah.
So, man, we've been almost an hour already, and looks like we've gotten lots of views and lots of comments. So feel free to ask questions if you have any questions. So, any other comments? Any other exciting things to talk about? I guess it's kind of been a little bit slower than usual at this time, but I'm excited this week, and then next week you got the Tri-Coff and some bigger events. So it's going to start starting to heat up pretty quick, and then like we were talking, just a couple weeks, and then South Smith. So
yeah, they I think we skimmed over it. I know Avon and Plainfield had a tight one, 31-30, and we had Asa and Logan Bow, which is always that's exciting early on. That was 1 and 2. Bow dropped a little bit, but I would be willing to bet that Bow kind of throws that ranking out the window, because I think that no matter where he's ranked, he's going to place ahead of that. But that's a good early season. And then we was talking with Chris this week. There's a chance he might see Bailey, who's number 2 right now this week. So Asa definitely those early Steves into matches, and I think that he's gonna. I think they set another one right after that.
Yeah. Now the Avon has a good schedule, so that should be. A lot of these teams. It's nice to see the better teams are starting to beef up their schedules, getting the events. I know Avon and Portage will be going to Ohio, I assume, still again. That's a great event.
Rexville.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's always
on Fowler.
Yeah.
Is that what we have? Absolute beast. Those guys were gifted by God. Nick's at Cal College now. That guy's huge. but I think that this is always a good test early on, especially for Ajax. I know he's coming out of football. He's ranked really high. Returning state qualifier to be a good match. This would be a good test for him. Harvest Classic is always a good start for those guys.
Yeah. Yeah, that should.
We skipped right over that.
I know. Yes. Nick.
Thank you, Andy.
Yes. Nick's going to put together a highlight video, kind of like top 5 moves of the week. And you can send that to him. There's a post on the board. It is indianamatt top5@gmail.com. Send the highlight or link to it. He's going to be the one spearheading that. So I just know that I'm just providing him with a password to our YouTube account. No, you cannot have it Wyatt Miller. So you can. I caught you before you were going to say something, Wyatt Miller. You. Whatever. So yeah, send it to him and he'll get it online, and hopefully we get a great response from that guy. So if, basically what he's doing, finding, send him a clip, great takedowns, great turns, great whatever from the last week's wrestling, and we're gonna post it, a little bit highlight video, maybe some cool music, maybe Nick's face. He's single, ladies. He is very single. He likes long walks on the beach. He has 2 cats, has his own house, has a job. Great guy. So, and I know Ann, his mother, would love to have some grandkids of his around to spoil.
Top level guy. I think this is a bulk of guys watching this, but I don't know.
Hey, they have sisters. They have ex-girlfriends and sisters and daughters. Things like that.
But yeah, I'm excited. I hope that there's a huge response for that, because I think that's something that could be really cool.
Yeah, I do too. I think
especially. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's good. It gives more promotion. Especially kids you don't get to see, and I know a lot of our talk is stuff. Is about the top 20 teams, top 20 kids, and maybe it's a kid that we don't know of, from a school that doesn't get a lot of love, getting on there and, just get some more promotion for the kids, for the sport. And that's kind of, make it full circle, what Indiana was created for, give that promotion to the kids. They work their butts off. The coaches work their butts off. There's a lot of time putting into the sport, and I know a lot of kids like the social media. That's where you get, getting those views, getting that, get in front of college coaches. College coaches are all over. You can tweet that stuff to them. You can tweet a match to a college coach. Hey, what do you think? Things like that. Getting that kind of exposure is pretty cool for the kids. And a lot of stuff's not on TV anymore for wrestling. Not nothing in the newspaper. And now you have your own platform. So, I'm excited. Hopefully we get some good good response from that. I haven't asked Nick if he's gotten much from it yet, so probably should sticky that post. And I'll do it right now. And he could have too, but
I know we did a lot of broadcasts last year with Region Sports, and I'm going to talk to those guys, and if there's something cool that he can grab from there, then just kind of let it run live. I want to say, hey, let's use those. I would love to have that Manzona and Brooks match. Like I said, those guys are out with this, getting at it. Things like that, I think. Those are going to be amazing.
Yeah. Hey, that's right in there. Someone's asking any live dual broadcast. Not right now. I know we've talked about some of them. Most of our better duels aren't till for a few weeks. So I know Nick wants to do a few. So I'm going to guess we're going to try to do Cathedral and Perry again. I know that's going to be a big one. Who else? Cathedral. Yeah, that's a big one. So
I'll do some with a region again, just like some local stuff. But I would love. Obviously it's so far, but I would love to do that Modern Day Perry Meridian. I've never been to Modern Day, but I think that would be a cool one to do. But that's also another thing. We did the Perry Meridian Cathedral one on a whim last year. Literally, what was that, a Thursday night? Someone called us, Matt Costucci and Warren and Howie were just like, hey, would you guys broadcast this if you could? And I was like, let me talk to Nick. He got all the stuff. I was like, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? He said, I got club. He's like, but I could probably get out of it. He's like, I was like, let's do this duel. This is Cathedral, Perry Meridian, and it lived up to the hype. I think everything that was, I think it got a ton of views. It was just one of those things. I left work early. I drove straight there, drove straight back. I thought it was pretty amazing. But that's like one of those things, like, as a fan, if I wasn't involved in that or involved in this, that's something I would love to see. I would love to have those matches like that.
Yeah.
I remember Belmont does the radio, and I remember one time we were driving back through Fort Wayne, and it was just like going through. I was like, man, this sounds like wrestling. It was Belmont Yorktown for a team regional. Nice. And I remember they like bumped at the end, and it was awesome. I remember just being hyped for that. I think that's just one of those things that just keeps growing the sport. And, we talked about it early on with the 10 years, but that's like the next step of, just doing that. And now that, Nick's not doing the coaching thing, it's going to be easier to get him involved in some of the other stuff too, which is cool.
Yep. Yeah, that's Belmont radio guys. I know I give Calver and what's his name? Rex Brewer. I know I give him a hard time. I give Calver a hard time. He loves me. But yeah, they do a great job. It's always fun listening to them, and they're Belmont homers through and through, but they're great wrestling guys, and I always give them a hard time, and they gave it right back to me. But that's cool. I know one of my friends from college, he lives over in Ohio, and he I don't know where he was driving, but he's like, I'm somewhere real close to the border. He's like, am I picking up wrestling? It's like Belmont or something. I go, oh yeah, those guys, they do, and they get sponsors, and they're pretty good. It's always fun to listen to them, and they're good guys to have, and that's awesome for the sport, And I'd be interesting to hear how many people are listening to those broadcasts. And I know if it's a big duel, I know I'm getting online and tuning in that stuff. So yeah, I just got a message from Josh Lowe that Brownsburg is at Brecksville also this year.
Yeah, someone told me that. So Avon and Brownsburg don't wrestle enough in their county. They want to go to other states.
Yes. They're going to have like 6 first-round matches. I can only imagine Snyder, you see the steam coming out of his ears. Like, really? Yeah. We already wrestle them 18 times a year. Yeah.
But I think that's pretty awesome, though. I mean, we talked about that last year, just kind of expanding to the tournaments you can do. Like, you're not going to be able to do some of the bigger ones, but, like, that Brecksville one's a good one. I know some of the ones in Illinois. Chesterton was went out to
Ted.
I think Antioch at that Ted DeGrassi or something, and they won that, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Ted was there.
It's Ted's tournament. That's all you need to know. But yeah. No, I know Brecksville kicked out a couple of teams from like Pennsylvania. I don't know if they kicked them out. They said, we don't want you back. I don't know exactly the word they used, but in order to bring on in Avon, Portage, and they brought in a couple of Michigan teams. Because Michigan's in the same boat as us as far as travel restrictions. It's, I believe, 300 miles from the border. And so they have a little bit more, they have just as much restrictions. So you have Indiana, Ohio, and Michigan, and you're good. So that's good that they did that. And, obviously you strengthen the tournament. So I wonder if, I'd like to see I haven't seen Brownsburg's schedule yet. I haven't really looked into it. So curious if who they added.
December 6th.
Yep. Yes, that's going to be a good one. The budding rivalry. That'll be interesting because Brownsburg's going to be young and Avon's going to be old, a little bit older, seasoned. So that should be an interesting match.
They're going to be the seasoned guns now?
The seasoned guns, yes. The savvy veterans. So, yeah, that should be...
That's always good. That's a good tournament. That's a good duel.
Yeah, I know Brownsburg does it right. The spotlight, DJ, and all that stuff. I believe it's going to be at Brownsburg, and they will. I'm fairly certain Brownsburg usually broadcasts their stuff. They have like a student TV station type thing that does it. And
yeah.
So hopefully they do that again. They do, they're students and they don't all know wrestling, but they do a good they do a good job. So you gotta take it for what it's worth of that kind of stuff. And they have good production actually. Maybe they call a wrestler a player or something, but if that's the worst thing that happens, and they have a good stream and it stays up, they're good. So
because they did Columbus East and Brownsburg last year, right? The students did.
Nah, it was someone else. I don't think, because I think Columbus East was at Columbus East.
Okay. I know it was like the week after, a couple days after we did Perry Meridian and Cathedral.
Yeah, no, that should be some good matches. I'm excited. We do have some. We definitely would like to broadcast some more. It's a matter of, Nick, I'm still coaching. Mike has 6 days a week of softball practice. He's softball dad extraordinaire.
I was going to turn into Olympians, Joe.
And so Nick's kind of the lone soldier in doing that. Obviously we could skate down to Indy or wherever for something here and there, but Nick's the man behind that. He has a lot of the equipment, all the equipment. Obviously I have some equipment too, but so we'll talk to him. We'll get him. He's been improving things lately, so
catch him on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Fridays at the Improv in Indy.
Yes, if you go there, we'll get his. You can go watch him, and like we said, his ladies. Nick's gonna have like 500 dates after we're done here. So
I don't know why he doesn't.
So anyway, I think we've blabbed for long enough. Columbus East at Cathedral this year, yes. That should be a good one. Lots of good matches, so I gotta stop reading these comments, or we're never gonna be done. A lot of good duels. So we're gonna try to stream a few of them. We're not gonna go whole hog and do one every week yet, but that's definitely something that we've always wanted to do. It's a matter of having someone that has the time and the technology and knowing how to do it more or less, and being able to get the hookups for internet and such. Because I know, everyone said, they complain about flow or track or, that stream wasn't very good. And there's a lot of stuff that goes into a stream that people don't realize. It's not just plugging your computer in and saying go. So with that.
Yeah. It was great last year. Those dudes, not those dudes, like everybody that was involved with Perry Meridian was like so welcoming. They were like about that. And I think that's how this should be, man. They just get get those kids out there, and they had the smoke going, and they had the tunnel. It was just great. It was a great atmosphere.
Yeah, and on top of that, it was a great duel. So, with that, I think we're gonna start wrapping up. Remember to find Dane. We'll be at Cathedral. Mike will be at the Harvest Classic, and Caleb will probably be at Jimtown, maybe at the local grocery store, working. He'll have some gear. Hit him up. Be nice to them. They have about 50 things each to give away. So Mike said he's going to probably string it along for all season. So be nice to him.
Try.
Yeah. So no, it'll be fun. Happy birthday, Indiana Matt. Just give back to everyone. We got a lot of good shirts, and then my wife's happy that I got rid of some of them.
It sounds like they got some more of these jackets in the.
Yes, we do.
If you guys want. This is the best jacket right here. I wore this just for this show because this is my favorite jacket. If you guys go to the store and buy one of these, amazing.
Yeah, very nice jackets. They're in the store. They are in the inventory correctly. And I'm going to be adding some more shirts. I'm going to add this shirt, and we got a green one that's just like this. I know everyone likes them, so got a few things. Kind of got rid of some things, so we got to redo some inventory. So with that, thank you guys for joining us for Gorilla Radio episode 56. I gotta keep plugging that. I gotta get remembered. I gotta be professional here. So with that, we will let you guys go, and we will see you guys next on Sunday, December 2nd, 10th birthday of Indiana Matt.